Well, isn't all independence good independence? So talk more about hyper-independence, what it is, how do you maybe reflect and say, maybe I am hyper-independent?
Yes.
A lot of times a hyper-independent woman is someone who is responding to her childhood traumas of neglect.
I can see somebody feeling like when they were a kid, they didn't have the ability to depend on anybody.
Right.
So then they're like, I've got to do this myself because I can't depend on.
They don't trust relationships anymore. And so they begin to not trust, and therefore they decide that I'm going to do it all myself. They don't ask for help. They don't see it as safe, and that would be hyper-independent.
There are people, the women in my life, that they will break their backs to do everything on their own and then be exhausted because they refuse to ask for help.
But that leads us into toxic independence, because toxic, the term by definition, is poisonous. It is something that harms others. So when you enter into the relationship in a hyper independent state of mind, what happens is your mate, it affects them. They may feel disposable. They may feel lack of connection. There will be lack of emotional intimacy. Intimacy is into me see. A hyper independent woman doesn't want you to see inside of her because that's just too vulnerable, and they fear vulnerability.
I also think, though, too, that we as women have been taught over the years to do it all for everyone, to be everything for everyone. And I think that unknowingly society, correct me if I'm wrong, has sort of played into this a little bit, and the concept.
It's society's fault.
And you know what? And you're absolutely right. That's why we have to balance this thing. We have to really accept and receive interdependence, because there's a stage. You start off as a baby, you're dependent on everybody, okay? Then you move into skills for independence, just to prepare you. But the last stage, which is the healthiest stage, is interdependence. That is mutual support. You have to be able to ask for help. You have to not be programmed to see yourself as not worthy, which is what hyper-independent, not worthy of help and support from others who even want to give it and receive it, because they will feel abandoned by you. They will feel rejected by you. They will feel, it affects how your mate feels when they're with you.
Yeah, sometimes the mate can feel a little bit belittled, right?
Yes,
if you don't ask them for help.
Absolutely.
But sometimes asking for help is so hard, because then you feel like, oh, I'm asking for help.
Putting somebody out.
Now I'm putting them out, and then now I'm gonna owe them.
Well, this is what you have to do. You still have to be vulnerable. You have to take baby steps towards your healing, because the goal is interdependence. Just ask for something small, and you may be rejected, but feel the feelings. Stop, pause, and experience that. But continue to do it. Reach out and allow people to be a blessing to you, to love on you, because if you cannot receive love, that's still a deficit in your relationship. Not just giving love, but also receiving it.
And you know, not that my oldest daughter, type A personality, would know anything about this at all, but I'm curious, because what I have found is that when you do ask for help, a lot of times it brings the relationship closer.
It absolutely does.
You know.
As actually, what you do is you gift the person who wants to help you as well, because true happiness, out of all of the studies, Harvard studies, Yale studies, they have discovered that true happiness comes from giving. It is more blessed to give than to receive. So when you rape the person of giving to you, giving their love and giving their experience and watching you suffer, it can be hard with your kids. If you have a child and you're watching them suffer, it's not easy when you want to step in and they reject you and won't allow it.
You know what? I have learned a lot today, because I feel like I have a lot of, mentors and friends that are family that I allow to give to me. But in terms of romantic relationships, I think I put up some walls. So thank you so much. Find out more at lovemcpherson.com. Thank you again for enlightening us.
Talk to you all day, love. That was great. Thank you.